He was sharp and on his feet. That's their defense? Okay. Meanwhile, Biden's slipping. Gen Z wants loan bailouts. And Jasmine Crockett, she's been caught weaving in and out of one of the most ridiculous fake back sob stories we've ever seen. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications because the truth doesn't need a teleprompter or a sob story. Roll the tape.
Hurry up. Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. You know, the thing is, he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise.
So that's the bar now? He was on his feet? If that's the best thing you can say about a guy who's got nuclear codes is that he didn't fall down, you have already lost. They're not defending the prior president. They're covering for a patient. And when that flops, they get even more ridiculous. In this next feed, he can speak in sentences.
He can speak in sentences is not praise.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, the question is, what are we going to do now?
Okay.
Exactly. That's not a compliment, people. That's what you call hospice level optimism. President Trump can recite a whole policy off the top of his head. But if Biden can read one sentence without glitching, they pop champagne. You're being gaslit by the same people who told you that inflation was transitory. But while they baby Biden, they lie to seniors and shift the blame. In this next excerpt, the Dems are lying about Elon and your money.
Oh my gosh, we are running ragged over here trying to stop the madness and maybe at some point get to doing good things for people.
I pray.
Yeah. Well, thank you for calling about Social Security, and I hear you are a teacher, right?
I'm a retired teacher, a retired adjunct instructor from Houston Tulsa, and I worked for AISD for 20 years. But the Social Security is major because after you've worked from 12 years old in the little after-school programs that your mama put you in Houston, Texas, and someone is telling you after all these years of working that they want you to work either till you're 77 years old and maybe get something or take it from you altogether. That's ludicrous to me.
Yeah, it's just not right. It's not right.
Not.
I mean, it's supposed to be Social Security is supposed to be a sacred trust, and them coming and calling it, Elon Musk calling it a Ponzi scheme or saying that it is outrageous, and we should be just as outrageous as you are.
Let's be totally transparent and clear about something, people. Elon didn't steal your money. The government did. And this particular Democrat used that woman's pain to lie about a man who didn't rob her. Newsflash, people. If Social Security wasn't rated, then maybe it wouldn't feel like a Ponzi scheme. And as for the Gen Z pity party, buckle up. In this next clip, Trump's admin addresses loan payment.
Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans? The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers, tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple.
For many of us, yes, that's called being an adult. Many picked useless degrees and partied for years, and now act shocked when they realize loans aren't optional. President Trump said what many working Americans already think: you borrowed it, you got to pay it back. But here comes that viral sob story crowd. In this next excerpt, we were only 18.
Comment section is getting absolutely flooded with comments like this, like, you got a student loan, just pay it fucking back. Most people signed up for these loans when they were 18 years old. They did not understand the impacts it was going to have on their life, how expensive college was going to be, how much debt they were going to get into, and now they are starting off life with $50,000, $100,000 in debt. And it is so hard to get a job right now with a degree, and when you even get that job, it pays you hardly anything. It is not enough to even survive on, much less pay rent. How the fuck are you supposed to pay a loan back? That big. This is an exploitative system that targets 18-year-olds that don't have a fully developed prefrontal cortex. And then they become adults and they are riddled with debt in a mound of, like, in just such a big hole they can't fucking crawl out of. We're just celebrating other people's poverty? Is that what we're doing?
Oh, now you're just a poor innocent child. You were only 18 when you signed up for the loans, but you were 21 when you voted Democrat and was telling everyone how smart you were. They sure knew how to party, protest, and post TikToks, but didn't know how loans worked? Give me a break. They just want somebody else to pick up the tab now. And now for the biggest lie of this video, Jasmine Crockett's origin story. In this next excerpt, her hate crime awakening.
Had a great background as relates to my ability to deal with numbers, and it was going to pay well. So I was like, I'll be an accountant. Unfortunately, around my junior year, I was the victim of a hate crime or two. And so were a group of my friends, all at the same time. Cars were keyed with the N-word. We received hate mail in our on-campus mailboxes. And at that time, my school hired the Cochran firm. And there was a lawyer who graduated from University of Houston who was assigned to me. And it was the first time in my life that I felt helpless. And I was like, I want to help people that are going through what I've just experienced. And at that point in time, I decided that I was going to sit for the LSAT.
I only have a couple of questions about this dump truck juice. Where is the police report, Jasmine? Where is the evidence? Where is the press coverage from campus? What this is not is an origin story, people. This is a campaign script. To be clear, she has weaponized race, trauma, and identity to write herself into a political script. And what did y'all do? You just clapped for her. And yet, the performance continues. In this next video piece, musical theater turned courtroom queen.
I did Little Shop of Horrors. So when I was in college at Rhodes in Memphis, I ended up doing Little Shop of Horrors.
What part did you play in that?
I was one of the women that was singing.
Okay.
Yes, I was in the chorus.
Okay.
And so I ended up doing it, and the mock trial coach recruited me to do mock trial. And I was like, no. By this time, I decided I was going to be an accountant. Didn't want to do anesthesia no more. Still didn't want to talk to people. So then he goes, no, you should do mock trial. And I said, that's for the kids going to law school. Long story short, he recruits me. I do mock trial just my senior year. I become a national All-American.
That's a bad girl. From Broadway to bar exam in one semester. She didn't want to go to law school, but somehow she randomly becomes a national All-American her senior year. Either she's the Black Ellie Woods, or this story's faker than Jussie Smollett's hate crime. And the kicker? In this next feed, Jasmine's full ride by accident.
And he says, you should go to law school. So I applied, got a full ride, and said, fine, if I don't like it, I'll quit.
Oh, I see. Just like that. A full ride. No LSAT prep, no application stress. She just tripped and fell into law school like she's Forrest Gump. Let me tell you what this is. It's called the hustle, people. It's a resume built on buzzwords and buzz cuts. The bottom line here is lies, pity, and political theater. They want you crying for student borrowers, not checking where the money went. and Jasmine Crockett. And that's just pitiful because the internet, it has the mind of a goldfish. She's just the latest in a long line of left-wing frauds, running on identity, tragedy, and made-for-TV moments. They don't want solutions. They want sympathy and power. And they'll fake, spin, and smear anyone who calls them out. Don't let that nonsense go unchecked. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications because we've got way more fraud to expose, more lies to burn down, and more truth to drop. Thank you. God bless.
Listen.